little bit of
Two matches on the double doors this weekend saw two cracker of the games taking place. Match 52 Punjab versus Rajasthan and match 53 Kolkata Knight Riders versus the Lucknow Super Giants. This is the post match analysis show, and I welcome to the panel today Joydeep Mukherjee. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
First
Damini.
things first, let's begin straight away with the post-mortem of match 52 Punjab Kings versus the Rajasthan Royals. So Rajasthan Royals back to winning ways. We'll start with your opinion on Rajasthan's win. Sir.
Yeah, I think the better team won. I think they have more firepower. Their batting is better. Their bowling is really good. Punjab is a volatile side. They have really highs and lows, and you don't want a team which has very large quantities of highs and lows. You want a steady team, and all the teams that have won the IPL have done consistently, like the Mumbais and the Chennai, the two teams that stand out. They've always been very consistent. They don't have superb games and totally outplayed games. They have, when they play really well, they win easily. When they play okay, they still scrape through. When they play well, they win. They find ways of winning. There will be some matches that they will once in a while lose, but they won't be, not a very volatile team in the sense that 3 wins superb and then 3 absolutely outplayed. Doesn't happen, and that's what happened with Punjab. Seems to be like a jinx team because for so long, in 2008 they qualified, in 2014 they played the final
Yes, sir.
against KKR. But besides that, for the team they have, they've not been able to perform to their potential, which is a little bit sad because I feel for the owners, the supporters, the administrators, they've put their heart and soul into getting a team. And for the first time, it seemed this year in the auction that they've got a side and they've got people like Anil Kumble and the like. So no shortage of real quality and class and legends over there. Just not happening for them.
That's true because Punjab really looked a team to, they started well off in this IPL. Somewhere again, they are just not being consistent with their performances. Now let's talk about their batting. Johnny Bairstow, the only player who stood out for the Punjab batting, a 40 ball 56. So, your opinions on
Yeah,
that?
yeah, he was really good today, but he's also taken his time to take off. He's had a lot of quiet games, and if he hadn't had those quiet games, maybe Punjab would have been in a better place. He didn't show the consistency that he showed when he was in Hyderabad, and also the fact that they batted him at 3 did not go down well. Ever since he started opening, he's done well. And in the last match he opened, he got runs. Today he opened, he got runs. So it's very important for him to be able to, hold his own. And you got to make sure that the people bat at their most productive places, not the ones that they want to, but the ones that they have most value for the team. And I think from match 1, it should have been Johnny Bairstow at the top and Mayank at number 3. Because that would have been a better thing. But for some reason, they didn't do it. And Mayank wasn't getting runs at the top of the order either. So it's just not that. It wasn't working both ways. Mayank not getting runs at open, Bairstow not getting runs at 3. So by the time they actually gave Bairstow the opening slot and things worked out, might have been a little too late in the day.
One very interesting point that really, stood out to be the talking point was the 19th over of Punjab Kings' batting when there was kind of a mini battle going on between Liam Livingstone and Prasidh Krishna. Prasidh Krishna taking on, bowling too wide to Livingstone showing his displeasure, those balls not being called a wide, and then suddenly some kind of a mind game was going on. Then Prasidh Krishna finally ends up winning the battle. How would you dissect that point? What was going on between those two players? What
This
could
is
have
all
been
part of the game. Yeah, this is all part of the gamesmanship. It's all part of the game. We've seen it before and we'll see it again in the future. Because everybody is trying to do their best. Everybody doesn't want to give an inch away. So that's understandable. The stakes are very, very high. So it's only understandable what was going on. And I think it's good to see that the heat of the battle finishes inside the ropes and it's not carried beyond that. And I've played many matches where it's gone far beyond this. But as long as it doesn't come outside the ropes, it's fine. You play the sport hard. That's the way it's played right now in today's day and age. And I think Liam Livingston also is he's come on his own. People like Tim David and Liam Livingston, they weren't successful before this IPL, but they made their mark this year, as many of the other players as well. So it's been really good to see that not an inch was given. It was really hammer and tongs at each other. That's what you want. Two teams pretty evenly matched, competitive, everything to play for. It's all on the table, and you got to go and grab it. This is what you want to see. Really good battle in the middle, and may the best team win, because somebody's going to lose in this game. I was really happy with the way it was played, hard but fair and square.
And now let's talk about Rajasthan's bowling. The spin twins Ashwin and Chahal seem to really run over Punjab Kings. It was good to see Chahal getting back his form, provided that in the revenge match against KKR he went wicketless. Today he really was the pick of the bowlers. Punjab were looking good, and then suddenly Ashwin came in to bag that important wicket of Shikhar Dhawan thanks to that brilliant catch by Butler. That was out. That was a screamer. So it's really good to see Chahal getting back in form as well, because he really finished with impressive figures.
Yeah, he certainly did. I'm a huge admirer of his. I think he's a brilliant bowler. I love the guy. It just goes to show that you don't have to be big and strong and muscular to play cricket. It's all about the skills you have. It's all about the guile. You're a little fellow with a huge heart. Because when he bowls, I think his leg spin, after Amit Mishra and Piyush Chawla not playing the IPL anymore, he is the man to go for. I think the likes of Rahul Chair and Bishnoi to follow. But for me, he is the number one leg spinner in the country and one of the best in the world. Because what he can do is he can turn the ball on any wicket. He has the ability to bowl slow. He bowls the googly. He knows where to bowl to who. He can do it under pressure, which is the most difficult thing to do. And for me, the biggest point is that he's got a huge heart. And you can't be a spinner without a huge heart. He has that. He likes a battle. Short, small, diminutive guy, but a huge heart and a fighter to the core. Love the guy.
And something which was very notable for Rajasthan's bowling was to bring back Yashasvi Jaiswal for Karun Nair. He became the talking point because he was dropped at the back of quite a successful losses. He had managed only 25 runs of 3 innings, and today he came and turned out he played a match-winning knock. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal player. Under 19 India, plays for Bombay, he's got a double hundred in Vijay Hazare Trophy. We know how tough that is. So obviously he didn't start off very well in the tournament. That can happen. But he's grabbed his second chance. And now I just hope he takes his game to a different level, because he is another game-changing player. From that factory of the BCCI, there comes another product. It's taken a bit of time in production, but as long as the product is very good, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because we know I've seen him play domestic cricket, and he's a phenomenal cricketer.
As time and again, I would really highlight what you always keep saying, that back your players, back your match winners. Would you what would you say to Rajasthan Royals management, that they had their faith on bringing back Yashasvi Jaiswal again, giving him some time to recuperate, perhaps to think about where he might have been going wrong, and then giving him a game, and then he tends to get back his form, and here he is with his match winning performance.
Yeah, I think he played a few games. He didn't get going. They gave him a bit of a break. He worked in the nets hard. Kumara Sangakkara must have been in his ear, so must have given him a lot of advice. And he was waiting for his second chance. Often, a second chance is the one that you grab, because not everyone that grabs their first chance. Very few do. You got to be really special, lucky. A lot of things have to fall in place, but there are a few that take their second chance and then they make you pay, and he is. And I just hope this is not a one-off. I just hope he carries on from here. They're looking good to be in the playoffs. They're looking at a team in the up, and it'll do wonders for Josh Butler if he can play like that. I know he didn't get going in a big way today, but if Josh Butler has a Yashasvi Jaiswal for even 6 overs in the power play, he's going to be breathing a lot easy.
No, it's really nice to see that Rajasthan Royals, after those two consecutive losses, have finally got back to winning days. Perhaps there's Shimran Hitmaya, who's their very interesting and reliable power hitter as well. Time and again, even today, he went on with that pinch hitting. Arshdeep fought a little till the end. Rahul
Mm.
Chahar also pulled it, but then it was Hitmaya, all guns blazing. It was really nice to see that. And now, what message would you now have for Rajasthan to move on, because they are the team who are looking to making their playoffs berth absolutely solid. What message would you like to give to them to continue their momentum and not get deviated from here?
Yeah, I
Had
think
you
they're
been
on the
their,
right. Sorry.
had you been their coach, maybe?
Yeah, I think they're on the right track. Just keep the momentum going. Momentum in this game means a lot. You don't want to, if you have one or two bad games here and there, but you don't want to get into a losing spree because that can often be contagious. Heads drop, and the games are so far, so close to each other that you don't really get to recover from any of them. At least now the travel's not there, but sometimes you lose today, you travel tomorrow, day after is another game. So you are actually, before you know, you're again on the park. So what I would want is that they have a very strong team this year. Their bowling is superb. If their batting goes through, then they are the team to beat because one of the best bowling attacks, just with the performance, with the names, and I also feel that you know the best of Rajasthan is yet to come. I don't know why I get the feeling that they're really going to be playing even better in the business end going into the playoffs.
That's great optimism. This is match number 52. Now, moving on to match number 53, Kolkata Knight Riders
Hmm.
versus the Lucknow Super Giants. Before we get on to the results, let's talk about the changes which both the teams made. And I would like to ask you your opinions on how these changes you feel influenced or should not have influenced the team. Kolkata Knight Riders made a change. They brought in Harshit Rana for Umesh Yadav. Umesh Yadav perhaps seemed to get a niggle. That's
Yeah,
what he was
he has a
said.
nigga. He missed out. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And Lucknow Super Giants got in Avesh Khan for Krishnappa Gotham. Your opinion on the changes and how they influenced the team or should have influenced the team?
Yeah, for Lucknow it was simple. They went for a fast ball instead of a spinner. This is a different wicket. They felt that with the power hitters in the team like Russell and Narayan and Shreyas Iyer and everybody else that comes, they felt that a faster bowler, Avesh is really coming up on his own. Today also he got Andre Russell out and he got his wickets. And the way he bowled three for 31 in 2.3 overs. Yes, he did get tonked a bit, but if you bowl to Russell, you will get tonked until you get him out. Russell will never play you 4 overs for 20 runs. He'll either be 445, 50, or he'll be back in the pavilion. Either one. That's the way he plays.
Absolutely.
And today more so because there were no runs. They were losing wickets every other over. So this is the only way for Russell to play. I mean, they were, I think, 10 overs 72, and they've got in another 10 overs 100 runs to score. So and 5 wickets down. So how are you going to get the runs if Russell doesn't hit the ball? So he did. Unfortunately, got out at a third man to a brilliant catch by Jason Holder. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I think Lucknow's change was very tactical and very. I'm not surprised at all with people like Gautam Gambhir sitting over there. They know how this game is played. He's really sharp with his cricket, so he's got that in place. See, Umesh Yadav has come out with a niggle, so he can play anybody instead of him. That was a huge miss because he's in the form of his life with the white ball.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's had a better IPL ever. And it's just bad luck. But the issue was not with the bowling, the issue was with the batting. Even with the bowling, I thought they gave up 20 runs too many. It was a bit of a sticky wicket. And KKR has bowling issues in the first six and at the end. That is that is evident just if you see all the matches. They're okay in the middle. Narayan 420 as always, the star, but one person can't hold things back for you.
Let's start with talking about Lucknow Super Giants' batting. The openers came, there was KL Rahul and Quinton de Kock. That brilliant run out by Shreyas Iyer to dismiss KL Rahul of a diamond duck. But Lucknow Super Giants' mentality was such they didn't let the nerves get the better of them. There was Quinton de Kock and Deepak Hooda who made the most out of the power play. That partnership of the second wicket. Your views?
Yeah, I think it was Quinton de Kock's mistake that KL Rahul got out because Quinton de
Yeah.
Kock called for it halfway through, said no. Once you call a person in today's game, you go full pelt. He had the skates on, and when he said no, he just couldn't come back from there. He had to pray. I mean, he had to just wish that the throw missed the stumps because he was done. He was too far down. That's the pace at which these boys run today, and Quinton de Kock made up for it. You could make out how disappointed he was when KL Rahul was out without facing a ball, as you rightly said, and when he was walking back, trudging back, the skipper, probably one of the best players in the world, not probably one of the best players in the world in every version, the player for the future in India, and he doesn't play a ball and goes. So Quinton de Kock did feel that to the bone, but what he did was went and got the 29 ball 50. He didn't get bombed by that. He didn't get sucked in by that. He made sure, okay, I made a
Exactly.
mistake. I made a mistake.
Exactly.
Mistakes happen. It was an error of judgment on my part, and for that he had to sacrifice his wicket. I'm going to make up for it, and he did. And he had able support from Huda and everybody that came later. But it was the counter attack after KL Rahul got out that put KKR on the back foot. Because often when you get a big wicket, most of the teams they could go on slightly defensive, which KKR was hoping. But it was Quinton de Kock's knock that was one of the best counter attacks I've seen when the scorecard was reading 0 for 1. Then with KL Rahul gone to counter attack to have 6 over 63, 7 over 74, superb.
And would you here say that Lucknow Super Giants have finally solved their number three problem by giving it to Deepak Huda?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's really made it his own as much as the others would want to. But he's chipping in, he's doing his bit. If you see the best number threes in the IPL, I'm talking about the Suresh Rainas, the Raidu back in the day, Mike Hussey back in the day, when he used to open and bat at number three.
Mhm.
For
Yes.
KKR, we've had a few superb number threes, Robin Uttapa, the year Manish Pandey, when in 2014 when they won. So number three is a very crucial position, and some of the best batters in the world bat at three. That's in any cricket. They call you the backbone of the team. So three is a place where you really need big runs. Right now he's doing the job, but I think Gautam and everybody else in the team would want him to make the runs even bigger in the sense that 70s and 80s instead of 30s and 40s that he's getting now. Yeah, he's got the odd 50, but he should be even more consistent because, like the openers, he's also today he got 20 overs. So in 20 overs, you can get a lot. So we are not asking the number 5, 6, 7s to get 70s because we're not giving them enough balls. But 1, 2, 3, and sometimes 4 are getting those balls. So you got to make it your own. You got to get those big scores.
That's good. And now let's talk about Shreyas Iyengar's captaincy because it was kind of a mixed match, good and bad mixed. Because bringing in Andre Russell in the middle overs to bowl, and Andre Russell delivered the moment he was given the ball, bagging those important wickets. He was extremely economical as well, Sunil Narayan. But at the end of KKR's bowling, giving the 19th over to Shivam Mavi, do you think that made a huge difference to KKR's efforts? The
Yeah,
efforts which Russell pitched in, Saudi
but
pitched in, Narayan pitched in, sir.
you have to give it to somebody, and that's his role.
So, yeah, but,
If you
Saudi had
have
an over left, sir.
yeah, Saudi bowled the 20th over.
But no, I was saying that Saudi had an over left, even Russell had an over left. Russell had delivered the 17th over, so couldn't have Shreyas Iyer done it this way, that giving Saudi the penultimate over and the ultimate over to Russell, because Mavi literally gave away those 30 runs, provided that one wicket Saudi went up to him after those three sixes he got hit for. He told something to Mavi, and Mavi then dismissed Stoinis, and then again he got hit for two consecutive sixes.
So he did not get the wicket just because Saudi told him, because Saudi must have been telling him in team meetings also. So it's not that one secret that you bowl this, you get a wicket. Everything has to
Yeah.
fall in place because the bowling
So,
coach, Bharat Arun, who's been bowling coach of India for a long time, and Saudi is also in his ear. So while the commercial breaks are going on between overs, Saudi is also talking to him. And in
so
spite of that the three sixes happened. Number one. Number two is in hindsight, everything is so much better. I remember Andre Russell bowling at the end and giving 25 runs an over also. And
yeah,
then we said, why did
absolutely.
And then we would say, why did Russell bowl? Why didn't we give it to Mavi? Because we don't know what's going to happen. See, once somebody gets stonked, it's always in hindsight to say, why didn't you give it to somebody else? But I think that was the right move under the circumstances, because life is not easier in hindsight. And Mavi's role in this team is bowling at the death. If he falters, then somebody else has to play who can bowl at the end. Because you cannot have Andre Russell bowl at the end. I know he's got 4 wickets in 1 over, whatever, but he generally doesn't bowl at the end. He's a batter who can bowl, and his job is to bowl between still 16 or 17. He cannot bowl 18, 19, 20. That's when your main bowlers of all the successful teams are going. I keep going back to this. Bravo bowls for CSK. Malinga bowled. Hardik Pandya bowled. Jasprit Bumrah bowled. Look at the guy. Josh Hazelwood bowls. Bollinger bowled for CSK back in the day, because these were the guys who were entrusted. Brett Lee bowled for KKR. Shoaib Akhtar bowled before that, because they are the specialists. Now, if they get hit, no problem. They are the ones who are going to win you games. Malinga's also got hit, but he's the one who's won you 5 IPLs also, or 4 IPLs while he was there. All I'm trying to say here is that, in fact, 5. He won the last one, last ball 2 to win. You know, he got the guy LBW and won Mumbai 1 by 1 run.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that when you're entrusted, if your role is that, and you're given the ball and you get hit, you can't say, why was the ball given to him? He couldn't do the job today, just like Daniel Sams gave 35 and also won you the game. So Mavi will also come and win you a game one day. And in hindsight, we'll say that was a great move. So it's all on the result. Before he starts bowling, we don't know what's going to happen. So, and this Mavi one day will actually come and bowl a 7-run over and win KKR the game. He's a fantastic bowler. Yes, but today was not his day.
Okay. Now coming to the biggest problem which KKR hasn't yet sorted out is their opening pair. Aaron Finch has been tried. Aaron Finch's form is a big question mark. KKR, so many matches into the IPL, KKR have yet not sorted out their opening pair. Their opening average, very sad to say, is the worst if seen statistically. If you've been associated with Kolkata Knight Riders, had you been associated now, who would you have fixed in the opening pair of KKR, and how would you have told them to, go and approach the opposition bowlers?
Right now, I would go with Ajinkya Rahane and Sunil Narayan. The batting is in shambles. I will go for some solidity. Ajinkya Rahane is a solid batsman. It's now a 150, 160 game. It's no more a 200 game. Today we bowled badly, so we gave 174. Still, it's not less than 200. I would go with Ajinkya Rahane because he gives you solidity. He gives you consistency, both of which are missing at the top. I would go with Sunil Narayan because we know what he can do with the bat in hand. And then I would have the rest of the guys. I wouldn't play Finch because he's played for 9 franchises, as you rightly said. If you play for 9 franchises in 15 years, you haven't done well for yourself. Because if you do well, you will not be let off. So, obviously, this IPL is not suited him. He hasn't taken it, but, to like fish to water for whatever reason. Many haven't. Owen Morgan is England's one of the best white ball bowlers ever. I mean, white ball batters ever. And the skipper of a World Cup winning team. But he hasn't taken to the IPL. So, similarly, Aaron Finch has not hit up in the IPL. And I'm surprised Pat Cummins is sitting out. He's one of the world's best. And it's, let's not even go there. We're going to be here till the cows come back. So let's just not even go there. So it's shambolic. I just hope they get it right. I think the season's close to being over as far as the qualification is concerned. And sometimes, rather than just being around, and that hides a lot of things, it's in a way good that the season hasn't gone well. It's right there, bare, open in front of you, where you're faulting.
Exactly.
And you have a chance to fix it. The people who are involved with the team, the management, the owners, they need to sit down. They really need to take some hard calls, and they need to fix this because it's fixable. The cracks are very, very evident. They messed up in the auction. So there's a lot of work left for KKR. It's not this year. This team is for the next 2 years as well. So, it's worrying times for KKR because, there's not a lot you can take in and leave out. I mean, you can make, 3-4 changes. But this team looks like more than that. It's got major worries with bowling, with batting, I mean, it's just
Batting
not.
has been a shambles. Batting has been absolutely shambles because their approach, as we saw, coming down to chase. You can't just be 25 for 4 in the seventh over, two consecutive wicket maidens. This just
Two,
shows how in shambles KKR has been in their batting.
and also two of your retained players out of the 11.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
till 2 months back, the people you thought would be your number one and number two player, or number three and number four player, with Russell being one, are not in the 11. So obviously, these are really testing times, and I'd be worried if I was KK management. How am I going to set this right? Where do I start? Where do I finish?
That's really true, and at times you really pity, you feel sorry for Andre Russell because the batting owners always has to come up on him. He has to come and he has to play that 15 ball 40, 16 ball half century every time to at least get KKR to a respectable total. Even now, he had to do it. He had no other choice. He had to just go guns blazing. It's really unfortunate. And
Yeah,
now, yeah, so
yeah. Today's situation was different. Today it was in a free license to do what you want because no runs on the board and wickets down. So that's, I mean, on both counts, KKL was faltering. They didn't get any runs and they were 5 wickets down. So what do you expect him? The only way KKR would have won this game is if Andre Russell got I don't know, a 37 ball, 75, 80. It's happened
exactly.
before. Remember
Yes,
Yusuf Pathan doing it for KKR consistently, and for Rajasthan Royals back in the day. But it's a huge ask, and this bowling is very very professional. They know where to bowl. The fast bowlers, I think Avish Khan was superb, as was Chamira, as was Holder, as was
Mohsin Khan
Mohsin
was the
Khan
pick
was
of the Lucknow
phenomenal in the
bowlers.
beginning. So it just goes. This is a really good unit, and the more I see these two new teams, the more I have a feeling that we're going to have a brand new IPL champion this year.
Yeah, that's only the talk of the town. Like both the new teams will be playing the final, and it'll be a brand new champion. And now coming to a serious question, though I don't know whether that makes much of a difference or not, because in KKR's case, it hasn't made much of a difference. That is, was it a bad decision by KKR to opt to bowl on a slow wicket? Or would you say that KKR played bad in all departments? It was Lucknow
Look,
who ticked all the boxes.
no, I think KKR were really, not up to the mark this year, and this game as well. With the ball, after getting KL Rahul, they were horrendous. In the middle, they were okay. At the end, they had no clue. This was a 150 game, which would have also probably won them the game. But when you go out to bat chasing 150, your mindset is different compared to when you're chasing 176. Knowing that I've got 26 runs less to 150 looks so much better than 176. So I think KKR has got huge worries with their bowling. Their bowling fell apart, and thank God KL Rahul got out early. Can you imagine if he batted for 6 or 8 overs,
My
what would have happened?
goodness,
This
where
would
would
have
the
won the
score
game.
would have gone?
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that in spite of getting a gift with KL Rahul out without facing a ball, even then they couldn't get going. And Sunil Narayan is the only one in the whole tournament who's held his own. He does it every year. It's phenomenal. And you got to look at the successful KKR teams. I've been a part of a few successful KKR teams, and their bowling was
Yes, sir.
always superb. It was Balaji, Brett Lee, Sunil Narayan, Rajat Bhatia, Iqbal Abdullah, Shakib Al Hassan. It was a
Jack
phenomenal attack.
Callis.
Jack Callis, phenomenal attack. And it was an attack where, multi-dimensional. There were people who could do many things. There were 6, 7 guys who could bowl. So that is missing right now. And it's in shambles. So they'll need a lot of repair work to do. And it starts with the team. Because at the end of the day, it's the team. One is you having the team and not playing well. There are some teams that have the team, but they have not played well. But in this case, I just don't think they've been able to have a proper 11 that should get onto the park. Chopping and changing has been too much. Sheldon Jackson plays 2 games, doesn't do well in 1 game. Suddenly, Indrajit has come. Now he's failed. I don't know who else is going to play. I mean, this is Rahane plays a few games. I think about 17, 18, 19 people have, or maybe even more than 20 have played for KKR in this season.
Almost the whole squad, the whole
Yeah, there
squad,
have
I
been a
guess,
few
had
I think
somewhere
who
or the
haven't
other.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 25-member squad, but I won't be too surprised if this is the team that has played the most number of players. And that itself goes to show that things are not good.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately, it's done and dusted for KKR this IPL. But given the few remaining matches, what advice would you give to KKR to at least finish on a little bit of high?
Yeah, I think just the fact that you just play for your pride, play for your performance, play for your position in the team. There's going to be some hard calls taken at the end of the season. The management will sit with the CEO and the head coach, and they will decide who to keep, who not to keep. So it's a good chance for you to, tick some boxes and make sure that you are in their discussions and not asked to stay home or some other or left behind for some other team to take you. And more often than not, if you haven't had a great IPL, other teams won't pick you up either. So it's a good chance for you to hold your own and play for the pride, play for the badge that you're wearing. On the KKR logo, you've got 2 stars. Play for that. You won the IPL twice. You were runner-up last year. And when you play for a franchise, it's a matter of great pride. I always wore the KKR jersey and the cap with a lot of pride because you earn it. You just don't get it. So I think
Absolutely.
there's a lot to play for. I feel for the boys because I've known most of them very closely, and I've been a part of a team in 2008 where we didn't do well because our main players were not available. So I know how it feels to be, really down and out. But at the end of the day, you pick yourselves up because that's where you play the sport. You just don't play the sport only for when things are really good. You also play the sport when you're down on the ground and you hit the dust and you get up and rise again.
So, those were very important words said by you. So, this was the double dose of weekend. Saturday games, match number 52, Punjab Kings versus Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals getting the better of Punjab Kings. And match number 2 was match 53,
Couple
KKR
of good
versus
games coming up
Lucknow
tomorrow,
Super
I think.
Giants. Yeah, of course, it's the double trouble will be going on tomorrow as well. Super Sunday coming
The,
up.
I,
Let's
the
talk about
IPL
the
wheel,
matches.
the IPL wheel rolls on.
Absolutely. And we have two very big and important matches coming up tomorrow. First match, day game, match number 54, Sunrisers Hyderabad versus RCB.
Big game for both the teams.
Absolutely big game. Big game for both the teams. So, your prediction?
I'm actually going with RCB because I feel they have more firepower. I feel Sunrisers Hyderabad have hit a bit of a roadblock. I think the form and the striker of Kane Williamson is bringing the team down. Rahul Tripathi is not shooting in between. He got a runs in the first few games, but he's gone a little stone cold after that. I think they're bowling Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, but they had injuries in there. Uh, Umran Malik had a couple of quiet games. He went for over 50 in the last game. I just feel that RCB is a more well-rounded side, and I think they're the favorites. They're definitely my favorite for tomorrow.
The previous match between SRH and RCB, SRH literally ran over RCB. Let's just see
That
whether
can happen.
RCB
Yeah,
can.
that can
Yeah,
happen.
that can happen. Absolutely. That can happen. Let's just see whether
See,
RCB can
see,
retempt.
Damini,
So,
when you ask me to predict, I predict both teams playing at 100%. Who's better? Both teams
absolutely.
playing at 70%. Who's better? Both teams playing at 50%. Who's better? If you compare it, one
Absolutely.
team playing at 100 and one team playing at 50, then anybody can answer that. It's always
Absolutely.
both playing to their potential, and then who's better? For me, it's RCB.
Okay. And match number 55, CSK and Delhi Capitals. Delhi Capitals will be looking to make their playoffs race stronger. CSK, well, they'll be playing for pride. So, your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going with Delhi because I feel they're a team that has looked good in patches. They've had some really good games and then fallen flat in some other games. I think the key to them is David Warner. If he gets runs, they do really well. I think Rishabh has been a touch inconsistent for as good a player as he is. Nokia back is a huge thing. I hope people like Akshar Patel is back. He missed out. They missed him really because he's a big cog in that wheel with the spin department along with Kuldeep. Kuldeep has had a couple of quiet games, but he's a sort of bowler. He'll pick up wickets, but he'll also go for a few runs. Akshar is the one who keeps things quiet from the other end. In the last game, he was missing. That was evident that Kuldeep was missing him. Delhi was missing him. So just with the firepower, I'm going with Delhi.
Okay. So, you won't be supporting Dhoni?
I always support Dhoni, but this time I feel
Ah.
just on my cricketing prowess, on my cricketing knowledge and whatever I understand of the game, I just feel that Delhi has more firepower. I'm with CSK. I think their bowling is not as strong as it has always been. Batting has had issues. I think bowling is the bigger issue for CSK. CSK has always had a gun bowling side. Really good bowling side. There were games where Raina would come, bowl, get 2 wickets, and not bowl next 3 games because he wasn't required. They had 7 bowlers in their team. That's how good they were. Dhoni could just toss the ball to anybody. But this time, it's not the case. They're bowling at the top, they're bowling at the end, they're missing their bowling links.
Even perhaps the absence of Deepak Chahar would you believe,
Of
is
course,
hurting
huge one.
CSK?
Huge one. It's a huge miss. But injuries are part of it. But even if he was there, I would still say they'd probably be about 60%. If you at one time they would be having the full hog. People like Josh Hazelwood, who's now playing in another team, and you see him play for Chennai Super Kings. You see, Moeen Ali, Bravo, Jadeja. Look at the attack, all-round attack, superb they were.
Okay, so this was the post-match analysis of double dose of Saturday, match number 52 and 53. We meet tomorrow for again two very big matches. Match number 54, SRH versus RCB, and match number 55, CSK versus DC. That's all for now. Until then, good night and thank you so much, sir, for joining. It was really nice talking to you. Take care.
Thank you, Damini. Good night. Take care.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.